Hey everyone, this has been a long time coming. I'm finally doing my Yelena wig tutorial from Thunderbolts. So let's get into it. So first thing, you're going to want to get a good wig base. There are pretty much 3 things I look for when I get any cosplay wig, and that's color, length, and parting. And I get pretty much all of my cosplay wigs off of Amazon, and I will be linking the one that I used for this specific tutorial in the description below. For Yelena's wig, you want to find one that's not too yellow, but also not too platinum. It should be parted in the middle, and I like to get mine usually way longer than I actually need to. My motto with wigs is you can always chop off the hair, but it's pretty difficult to add it back on. You don't need much for wig styling, but obviously your most important tool is a pair of scissors. So I typically use hair cutting scissors. I don't know if there's a technical word for that. But this is synthetic hair, which means that it's basically a plastic fiber. So these fabric cutting scissors work just fine. I start by chopping off some of the excess length I know I don't need. Don't go too short here, as we'll be cutting off a lot more later, but getting some of the length off makes it a lot easier to work with. As you can tell, it doesn't have to be perfect or even. Next up, you're going to want to separate the bang portion of the hair from the longer length. I just use like a little hair pick that makes it a lot easier to separate the hair into neat sections. But I've also used my fingers before and it's worked out just fine. You'll want to have little alligator clips or hair ties to separate all these different sections we're making. And with everything sectioned out, now we can move on to the fun part, cutting the bangs. If you're making the wig for yourself, I highly recommend trying it on and either cutting it to length on the bang portions with it on, or figuring out some sort of way to mark it. I personally always put the wig on for my own wigs and cut the bangs to length, at least in the shortest section, so I know where to base the rest of the bang portion off of. I use this sort of shearing technique to start cutting these to length. I basically just drag the open blade down along the hair to start getting that interesting layering effect. Remember, we can cut things shorter, but we can't add any length on, so it's okay if you leave them a little bit longer than you think you should. Oh, everyone say hi to Bullseye! It's also good to have a little fine-tooth comb on hand to brush out these small sections, and it'll come in handy for the styling portion later. Throughout this process, it's good to brush out the bangs periodically and continue to cut any out-of-place pieces and trim some more of the length off. The bangs are looking a little flat at the front, so we're going to fix that by adding some more volume in. For this, I just use small hair rollers and then my holy grail, got to be glued hairspray. If you're picking this up from the store, you may notice there's like a fine nozzle version and then a gel, but I usually just pick this one up. You're going to separate a small section at the parting of the wig and place the hair roller at the base of it. Make sure the hair is neat within the roller, and it should be a pretty thin section. For the next step, you're going to want to have a blow dryer on standby. Spray the section just over the roller, and then I like to blow dry it on high setting and then hit it with some cool air to set the style in place. After it's set, you can remove the roller and you should have something that looks kind of crazy. You can either lightly wet it with your fingers or use a spray bottle to very, very lightly dampen the bangs. Then just comb it out and it should calm it down to something like this. Now that your bangs have the right amount of bounce to them, you can more accurately cut them to length. Time to take a break from the bangs and move on to the back. I find this part to be pretty simple. She basically just has a lot of straight layering going on, so you can just use that same shearing technique to make sure the shorter layers are on the top, and then you just drag the scissors down the hair for longer layers. It's kind of mullety. I don't know. I'm sure there's a name for Yelena's hairstyle, and I just don't know it. If you're unfamiliar with wig lengths, now is a very good time to try it on and make sure you're not cutting it too short. Wig length kind of differs on everybody, and I've definitely made the mistake of chopping off too much. In fact, it's why I have a version 3 of my own Yelena wig. You can start to shape the back half of the bangs here. Her hair sort of sweeps behind her ears and makes that iconic little swoop on both sides. And using those little clips to position things where you want them here is super helpful. I also will use hairspray on parts I'm satisfied with, then do the same like blow dryer method on them. Having portions of the bangs in place also allows you to trim those pieces to size, and then you can really start to see the wig take shape at this point. To be honest, I just kind of go back and forth for a while, tweaking the shape and the silhouette until I'm happy with it. And just like that, your styling is done! Look at those swoops! My philosophy with wigs is if you get the silhouette right, everything else kind of just falls into place afterward. But I'm kind of known for just winging it. The finishing touch on this wig for me is definitely her dark roots. All you need is a fluffy eyeshadow brush and some dark brown eyeshadow. I personally also like to mix the dark brown with a transition color so that difference isn't so stark. This is pretty easy, and to be honest, I find it therapeutic. All you do is take the eyeshadow on your brush and start brushing it from the root of the hair outward. If you go too heavy, it's okay. You can just use your finger to blend it in, or you can also take some water and just rub it off. I just go around the parts of the hairline that are going to show. On previous iterations, I've done the roots of the whole entire wig and found it didn't really make a difference, so hopefully this saves you the trouble. And that's pretty much it. Hopefully this helps anyone wanting to join the Yelena Mafia. These are always a lot of fun for me to make, and I'm at a point where I'm super happy with how she looks. Thanks for watching my first ever tutorial, and hopefully there will be more to come. See ya!